Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back to my channel. It's me, Kia Simone, and let's get into this episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville, where they are quite scripted and stagnant, but let's just get into it, y'all. Before we do, please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you have not already. And, of course, I have to give a shout out to my super thanksters. Shout out to 713 Rose, Yvette Greer, Tech Mama, Tanya Fuller, Elijah's Mimi Tech Mama, and Amber Lede. And on Cash App, shout out to Vanessa Bird. Thank y'all. I love y'all so much. Now, child, let's get into this review. And I almost forgot. Y'all had told me in the comments last week that I had gotten me a shout out. So I had went and looked it up, and yes, Miss Wanda shouted me out. I said, not my first celebrity endorsement. All right now. Thank y'all so much for bringing that to my attention. Thank you so much to Miss Wanda for shouting me out. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all know I love Miss Wanda. That's my girl. So I appreciate it so much. Thank you. Now let's get into the review. So the episode opens up with the guys getting together for a pickup game of basketball, and I hope they picked up some Ben Gay on the way. Stormi's husband, Courtney, is hosting this whole get-together, and he's in the confessional looking like my office hours are from 9 to 5. I said, what in the 5 heartbeats hell does Stormi have her husband in? Stormi done put this man in red hair and bed sheets, and I don't know where in the pajama party hell he's going, but just anyway. So Courtney is in the confessional saying that Stormi is going to be hosting a peace party to get all the ladies together to try to get everything back to normal after the Madani incident. So he's doing his part with the guys. I said, you know what? We got to get off this merry-go-round of the fight at Madani. I'm tired. We've been talking about the same fight since the summer. It's starting to get very much soap operas where you can miss it for weeks at a time and you turn it back on and Victor Newman is doing the same shit he's been doing. That's what it's giving. Courtney thinks that his task of getting the guys together is going to be much easier than Stormi's task of bringing the ladies together, which might be true to a degree depending on the day. Because these dudes are quite unpredictable. You clearly don't know them. Don't make no sudden movements. So the guys are filing into the gym. They come in one by one. Courtney and Maurice get there first. Louis files in next. And as soon as Louis came through the door, Maurice said, hey, you on our team or you on Courtney's team? Louis said, no, man, I'm all baseball. In other words, I'm about to give y'all a whole bunch of tall for nothing. Don't put your money on me because y'all gonna want to fight in the end. So Marceau comes in next. Maurice said, hey, you done walked into something. We about to get our ass whooped. I hope you ready. Martell comes in next. Maurice said, hey, Marty, what's up? Ain't no tackling today. In other words, you about to get your ass tore out the frame. Don't fight when you lose like you like to do. Martell is in the confessional saying, yeah, I'm not all that good at basketball. They know I bring football to the basketball court. I'm a hacker and a fouler and all that. Yeah, bruh, we know. Because you bring that shit to more than basketball. You was a tackler, a hacker, a fouler, a face mask grabber. Oh, we know. Martell said, now Courtney's extremely good at basketball. So hopefully he'll get to be on his team today. I said, that is typical Martell. You find you an unsuspecting target with the perfect coattails to ride. Yeah, put me on your team. Now, apparently the piece of information that has been left out, the reason that Maurice is so shook is Courtney plays basketball professionally, or at least he did. I believe he played basketball overseas. And so Maurice done sized up the kind of ass whooping he about to get. Now Marceau can't get it through his head. You know his skull is thick. So he talking shit about Courtney. How tall is you? Courtney said, I'm 6'3". Marceau said, well, I'm 6'9" in the paint. Courtney said, all right, well, you and your brother should team up. Marceau said, yeah, it'll be me and Reese against all three of y'all. Maurice looked like I be damn, why would you want to go up against this man? Louis bowed out immediately. Louis done found him a damn whistle somewhere, but I'm going to be the referee. You wouldn't whoop his ass on TV and send him home to Tiffany, who already don't halfway want him. You wouldn't do that to him. So they play their game and they go to sit down and talk. And Marceau is breathing hard and rocking back and forth like he going to fall out, but I put too much on it. You damn right you put too much on it. Maurice was trying to tell you was putting too much on it. You keep letting that 25-year-old in you write checks your 40-year-old ass can't cash. Now you in here about to fall out. So the guys start talking, and Courtney brings up that Stormi is going to be hosting this peace party for all the ladies to try to restore the peace. And the guys are all pretending to be surprised. Really? Oh, wow, that's awesome. Look here. if y'all gonna script this and give them lines, please give them a theater class or two. So when Courtney says this out of nowhere, here comes Martell. Is Miss Wanda gonna be there? See? This is where it registers that you ain't got no woman, okay? You ain't got no woman to be relevant in this scene. You just sit your ass there and be quiet, okay? What you could be doing is checking to see if your housing application got approved at the chateau. Courtney said, no, I don't think she's coming. Good. Now mind the business you got. None. Marisa, so she's going to try to get the group back together. Courtney said, yeah, she going to try to get them together, man. Marisa said, that's so good. Martell said, well, just make sure you hire security. You do know that the last event where security was necessary, it would not have been necessary if you and the party that you came with did not show up. You do know that, right? Now, Courtney is in the confessional looking nervous, but I thought the peace party was a good idea. I'm hoping it'll work because Stormi is very spiritual, but women don't forgive and forget like men do. So yeah, you just better have some landscaping people on standby because they just might tear up your damn yard. So they change subjects and start to catch up on, what's going on with them professionally. Maurice is letting them know he's really excited about the title company that he and Kimmy have coming. Marceau is saying that Black is expanding into the suite next to it, so it's going to be bigger and better. And Courtney is saying that he wants to get into the business of commercial real estate, but not from the vantage of construction or anything of that nature. He just wants to be an investor. I just got some money that I would like to invest and flip. And Marceau says, well, that's my business, that's my field, and I'm pretty good at it, so I'd be happy to give you some advice. Marceau in the confessional said he offered the same thing to Martell, but we see where that ended up. Well, Martell ain't got no damn business, so they tried to include him in the conversation. And Courtney said, well, Martell, are you and Mel cool again? Martell said he thinks that they are at least seeing the bigger picture and that the bigger picture is the kids are all that really matters. Maurice said that's honestly the hardest part of divorce. When y'all don't like each other no more, y'all can part ways, but the kids is where things get gray and muddy. And as Maurice is saying that that's the hardest part, Martell interjects to say, but since then, Mel invited me to Destin. That's where I used to always take the family on vacation when we were together, so that's a pretty big deal. But Marceau busted his damn bubble. Marceau said, you can come right on down off that flex, because I got a question for you, bro. Do you think that any of this is confusing to y'all's kids? Martell said no, because he feels like his children have enough sense to understand divorce, to understand that their parents are not together, but to also understand happiness, and that seeing his kids smile is a really big deal to him. That's all that really matters. Maurice said, yeah, that all sounds good, but for as much sense as those kids have, they have hope. And he explains that he's been through a divorce, so he gets it from the perspective of the parent and the child. Maurice said that when he and Kyle were separated, Monster was only about 3 years old. And even though his child was really small when they separated and didn't have a lot of years of seeing his parents together, that did not stop the conversation and the questions. That didn't stop him from wondering about or wanting his parents to get back together. And Marceau and Maurice go on to explain that they witnessed this as children, that when their parents separated, they would come back together and go on dates every now and again. And while it was always good to see their parents reconciled and friendly and being able to get along, when their parents would go out together, they would all kind of sit back as kids and wonder, is they about to work this out? Is they getting back together? What's going on? So from the perspective of a child that does not understand all the nuances of the adult world, it does keep that hope alive. Martell said, well, as parents, we do what we think is best. And in this case, he thinks the best thing for his children is to see their parents getting along positively and effectively co-parenting. And Lewis backed him up. Lewis said he agrees that he comes from the perspective of it's better to see the parents together and actually have access to them, whether they're going to be together or not, than to not have the parent at all. And I think what the Scott brothers are trying to communicate to Martell is to be very, very attentive to the children's emotional needs and positions as y'all are going through this, because y'all have small children and you really have to help them navigate this entire process. If this is difficult for y'all as adults, imagine what the situation is like for them as children. So we move on and we see Stormy and Mel getting together at a metaphysical shop where they're going to be looking at stones and sound bowls and sage and all kinds of things for protection. Well, Mel said she's specifically looking for a stone called black obsidian because for Scorpios, you know, it's for protection. Stormy said, did I miss something? What you trying to get? What do you need protection from exactly? What did I miss? Mel said, well, you were there for some of it. Stormy said, I was there for all of it. She says, well, yeah, you were there for it, but I need to catch you up on the after. Let me tell you everything that happened after that. So, you know, Martell called us dinner together and she caught her up on the whole dinner and how they rehashed the issue of Miss Wanda, and we decided Miss Wanda goes too far. But she tells her how proud she was of herself for how she conducted herself, that even when Tisha was trying to be shady at the table, and they showed this clip of Tisha explaining Miss Wanda's position, that, you know, I didn't even react. Mel says she's just so proud of herself because that's typically not her. Stormy looked at her like, girl, what? So in the confessional, Mel is saying how at that dinner, she was not going to dignify Letitia with a response because she makes a lot of excuses for Marceau and Miss Wanda, and she acts oblivious, I guess, in an attempt to get sympathy. I said, I know you lying. Well, hello to you, Pot. You should be introducing yourself to the kettle. Because what in the hell is you talking about, girl? She makes excuses and acts oblivious in an attempt to gain sympathy. If that ain't projection, I don't know what is. So Mel tells Stormy that they ended the meeting with the conclusion that kids were off limits and they're not going to talk about each other on social media. Stormy said, okay, well, that sounds like y'all had a productive meeting. So do you think that you and Letitia could ever get back to being friends? Mel said, no. I'm not looking for any friends. No. Stormy said, well, I'm asking because I was really planning on putting something together. Mel said, putting something together for who? Stormy said, well, Kimmy. She said, yeah, okay. You? All right. Yeah, we doing good. Me? Okay. Destiny, Tiffany, Letitia. Mel said, oh. Stormy said, well, what it is that at the Galentine's event, I really didn't feel like anything got resolved. And I also feel like I contributed to why nothing got resolved. And being that we're all in a better place now, I just wanted to try to bring everybody together to see if things could maybe be different. I really like that Stormy was able to say, look, I had contributed to tearing the club up. So I would like to, you know, offer my community service, see what I can do to rebuild the bonds that we participated in tearing down. Mel says, okay, you said we didn't resolve anything at the Galentine's, but I'm not looking to resolve anything. So what is the purpose of this? Well, the truth comes out. Thank you. You're not looking to resolve anything. I don't know why you would think we want to watch a show of you just disliking everybody and refusing to engage or interact. But on TV, when you have an ensemble cast, you have to participate in the ensemble. Otherwise, we're watching them socialize and you just be uncooperative. Stormy said, the purpose is healing, sound bowls, magical energy, peace, woohoo, something, child. Like, Mel said, we've tried all that in the past. Stormy said, well, you ain't tried it with me. You ain't got my magic. Okay, so let's do this. So we move on and we see Marceau and Courtney getting together to discuss Courtney getting into commercial real estate. And they're meeting at Marceau's first project, the first commercial building that he built. And he's telling him about a few of the projects that he's done in the area. And I started wondering, how come we don't ever see none of that? Because this scene, I'm telling y'all, before we even get into it, this scene gave me absolute scripted, absolute staged. These people don't even really know each other like that, okay? My thing is, if you're looking for storylines, if you're looking for content, if you're looking for something to add to the show, why don't we actually follow them when they're working? Why is it only about whatever domestic drama they might have? Even though the Scotts are entangled in some lawsuit right now, that lawsuit is the byproduct of some project they're working on that we know absolutely nothing about. Why aren't we privy to that? Why isn't the show is that not their reality? Why aren't you following that? Why are we, these conversations that are absolutely scripted are damn near insulting to intelligence. Like, come on. Now, Courtney and Marceau are supposed to be having this conversation about Marceau advising Courtney about getting into investing in commercial real estate. But the conversation starts off with Courtney asking Marceau about how much Martell was involved in his first project. I said, you know what? Okay. Clearly, this is set up for him to clear the narrative. Whatever this narrative is, Martell is who put them on. Marceau wants to clear that up. So here we go. So Courtney starts, since this was your first project, did Martell help you? I said, what in the 60 Minutes Behind the Lies hell is we watching? Chat, why would y'all pull Courtney off his damn farm to come interviewing people about stuff he ain't got nothing to do with? And y'all know Martell crazy as hell. And as soon as Marceau say he ain't put me on, Martell is gonna be on the internet trying to drag every damn body. Y'all gonna have Courtney in the middle of some stuff he ain't got nothing to do with when he's just trying to help y'all keep this show going. Marceau said, nah, let me settle this battle of the builder's license right now. We were in commercial. They were in residential. And commercial is very different from residential because in commercial real estate and construction, you have to sell a whole business. Whereas in residential, you're just selling a structure. In other words, he ain't on my level. So Courtney explains to Marceau, well, I would like to get in commercial real estate, but not from the vantage of having a whole construction business or any long-term investments. I just want to put some money in, flip it, and get some more money out. That's all I want. Marceau said, well, he can absolutely teach him the ropes, and he thinks what Courtney is looking for is to pay somebody like him to do all of the work, and he's willing to help Courtney with that. He said he thinks Courtney understands the timetables and what it takes to turn these kind of projects around, and he would not let him invest with him if he did not, because he don't want to deal with nobody who's going to be harassing him about, is this project going to be done on Wednesday that we just started on Monday? I said, like you did your uncle? I said, Marceau got a lot of damn nerve after he done fired his uncle 5 times on TV and harassed that man nerves for plans on land that he still ain't touched. So Marceau asked Courtney, well, is it just going to be Courtney investing or is this going to be Courtney and Stormi? Courtney said, as always, Courtney and Stormi. That is a foreign concept to Marceau. Marceau said, how does that work? Y'all work together and stay married? Help me understand. Courtney said, we work together. We work hand in hand. I mean, one hand washes the other. That's just how it works. How do you and your wife work together? We don't. Marceau said they work on creating the vision together, but that's where it starts and stops. I ain't got time to be dealing with her outside the house. I can't. Marceau feels like any issues of the business would always spill over to their household. And Courtney is saying no, because business is business and personal is personal, and we separate them. Marceau said, I don't need that all the time. Now, Marceau can say he doesn't need that dynamic all day, every day. But wasn't it Tisha that went out and secured him that first big contract that he really, really wanted back when he was trying to keep her in the house? Yeah, you might need that dynamic more than you know. Courtney said, nah, bro, I think you just got a problem working with women. I think that's your issue. Courtney said they don't argue when it comes to business because they respect each other's roles. That when she's stepping up to take the lead, he steps back and lets her have the lead and vice versa. Marceau said, okay, well, so basically you're saying y'all have roles and we have the same thing. Our roles are just different from y'all's. Courtney said, no, not really, because you don't seem to have a role at all in the house if she's doing all the housework. Marceau said, yeah, she does do everything in the house, but that's because I do everything outside of the house. And that's our balance. That's how we assign roles. Courtney said, okay, but I just think y'all can make a whole lot more money together if y'all actually worked together. For example, he and Stormi have made $20 million working together. Marceau said, okay, that's good, but we made $17 million working apart. So I think our plan is working damn good too. And in the confessional, Marceau said, Courtney is telling him that he thinks it's a good idea for him and Tisha to work together and they'll make so much more money. He said, but in reality, I wouldn't have more money. I would have half the money because I was going to have to give her half of everything when we get divorced. It ain't gonna last. It ain't gonna work. Let me tell you, I don't like Tisha and Marceau's marriage personally. I really don't like the dynamic of their marriage. I really think it's unhealthy. However, I do agree with the idea that everybody has to do what works for their marriage, because what keeps Sue and Simon together might break Jack and Jill up. So what works for your marriage is what works for your marriage, and people's marriages are as individual as the individuals in it. So everything doesn't work for everybody. Now, having said that, I do think Courtney and Stormi, from what we've seen, seem to have a better dynamic than Tisha and Marcel. So, I mean, they're not necessarily bad people to take advice from, but Marcel got a little bit of a point. So we move on to Maurice and Kimmy's house. And let me tell y'all, this was a very, very, very hard scene for me to get through. The first couple times, I literally couldn't even watch it. I just kind of left it on the TV and watched out of my peripheral because I just could not cry. And I'm just going to try to get through this and tell y'all what happened without me getting emotional, because y'all know how I get. I'm trying to do this review without breaking down. So if it seems like I'm just trying to get through this scene, it's probably because I am, because it was very heartbreaking to watch. So we go to Kimmy and Maurice's house, and they are sitting in their recently finished theater room, and Maurice comes in with a tray, and Kimmy is talking about how she's had a very, very long week. And she tearfully starts to explain that she was doing a self-exam and she found a lump in her breast. And she called her doctor to schedule an appointment for a mammogram. And right after she scheduled the appointment, she continued doing her own exam and she found another lump on her lymph node. Being a very experienced nurse, Kimmy knows that these are telltale signs of breast cancer. Kimmy said that when this all first happened, she really wanted to shy away from filming, but she decided that this might be an opportunity to help somebody. And her motto in life is if she can help one person, then it's worth it. And so she decided to proceed with filming and share her journey with us. Now, at this point, she hadn't received any results. She's still waiting on test results, but she's trying to not lose it and think the worst while she's waiting. And Maurice is telling Kimmy that, you know, he knows that, especially when she's going through things, she likes to withdraw and be to herself, but that he needs to be there for her and lets her know that he has her back completely. And Kimmy is more concerned about protecting everybody from worrying about her. And you can tell that Kimmy is used to being the strong one. She's used to being the one that holds everybody else up when they're going through. And she doesn't want people worried about her. She said, you know, she doesn't want to shut her friends out because she knows they all mean her well and they love her. But in trying to uplift her, people are going to make her sad while she's waiting. And she doesn't want to be sad. She doesn't want to think the worst because she feels like maybe it's a mind thing. And there is the possibility that it's not a big deal. And maybe if she doesn't make it a big deal in her head, it won't be a big deal in real life. And as Maurice is reminding Kimmy that he is going to be there for her no matter what, Kimmy starts to talk about that they need to make provisions like a living will and get paperwork and things of that nature in order. And she says to Maurice that I know that this isn't technically what you signed up for. And Maurice said, this is absolutely what I signed up for. And I'm going to be here the whole way because none of this matters without you. And I really feel like God is going to take care of you. Kimmy said, I think so too, because I'm God's girl. And I concur. Kimmy is absolutely in my prayers. I pray that she makes a full recovery from whatever she is dealing with. So we move on to Stormi's peace party, where she is at her house getting everything set up. She has a staff there that is doing their place settings and the music and just setting the ambiance. It's beautiful. So Tiffany is the first to arrive, and right behind her is Mel. They're all happy to see each other. And Tiffany said, before we get started, are there assigned seats? Stormi said, no, but I do want y'all to sit close to me. So those are the assigned seats before the rest of them get here. So we see Kimmy get there next, and she says she's just there to really enjoy the ambiance and the environment. She's not looking to share a whole lot of what's going on with her. And then we see Tisha show up. Now, everybody else has on their maxi dresses, and they all look like they're there for a little gathering, a tea party kind of a thing. Well, Tisha got on some cut-off shorts and a t-shirt. I said, what in the scrub the ground hell do you have on, Tisha? Then it hit me. I said, oh, I know what's going on. The last time she got together with this group, somebody ran up on her mama and she had on a short little dress and heels. So now Tisha back on her Street Fighter Barbie bullshit. Stormi said, you look good. I said, now, Stormi is the kind of person that'll look you dead in your face and lie and then laugh as soon as you leave. Cause I said, did y'all send Tisha a different invitation? Like, what happened? Everybody else looked like they going to a tea party and she looked like she got invited to a cookout at the community center. I'm trying to figure out, what did y'all tell her she was coming to? Tisha said, well, the invitation said we was going to be sitting on the ground, so I just wore something cute to sit on the ground. I guess she thought you meant rolling on the ground. So Mel is standing there looking at Tisha, and she's in the confessional talking about how she's not really here looking to mend any friendships. And as long as Tisha can abide by the rules, they'll be fine. Girl, why are you in this confessional worried about Tisha? Tisha ain't said nothing to you, ain't did nothing to you. All she did was walk up. And she's in the confessional, but Tisha tends to contradict herself and live in denial. But if she ain't talking to you, you ain't got to worry about where she lives. It sounds like she lives rent-free in your head. And Tisha's in the confessional saying, ever since the event at Madani and this conversation that they had over dinner, they came to the agreement that they were no longer going to drag each other on social media. They would only do it face-to-face. So now that they're face-to-face, we don't know what to expect. Hence, her outfit. So then we see Destiny arrive late with a +1. She shows up with a cousin of hers named Demi, who it sounds like the group is familiar with, because you hear Tisha, hey, Demi, and everybody's telling her hi. And Destiny is in the confessional saying, yeah, this is her cousin. And Huntsville is pretty small, and this cousin is familiar with Mel and Martell and how they can be. So she decided to bring her with her. She said she hasn't seen Mel since she was embarrassing herself fighting a grandmother in front of Madani, so she doesn't know how this is gonna go. So Mel is in the confessional saying, I see Destiny brought Demi with her. I guess as security or backup. But who brings backup to a peace party? When the peace party is being attended by the same individuals that disturbed the peace at your last gathering, you would bring some sort of reinforcement, I guess. Now, as for Stormi is trying to figure out why she got an extra guest at all at my house, because who had invited this lady? Now, she happened to have an extra place setting, but she said she did not know this lady was coming. Now, here's the thing. So I kind of feel two ways about it. On one hand, turnabout is fair play. You had Stormi showing up to Madani with a +2 when she wasn't invited to begin with. You had Mel showing up to Madani with a +5 when she wasn't invited to begin with. Now, on the other hand, this is Stormi's private home. There is a different security level when you're talking about going to somebody's house. If it were me and I were hosting a gathering and I had invited specific individuals to my home, I probably would feel a way when you show up to my house with somebody I don't know, because who is this person and why is they here? Stormi said this person was not invited to her home, but it is a peace party, so she's just gonna try to roll with it and keep the peace. So Stormi starts this whole meeting off by letting them know that she wanted to bring everybody together to try to restore the peace because she feels like the Galentine's was just a disaster, and she feels like she heavily contributed to that going left. And Destiny looks absolutely shocked. We telling the truth around this bitch today? So Stormi says, well, me and Destiny, we got together and had a moment to kind of smooth everything over. And if we could do it, anybody could do it, because they swear she was getting ready to throw a chair. So they decide to light a bunch of sage and get their whole Blair Witch project started, but let's just release the energies, child. All right. So they decide to light their sage and state some personal mantras. Like Stormi is saying, I can do anything and I can be anybody I want to be. Tiffany says something, but I always knew if you wanted to change the world, you had to go home and love your family first. Well, girl, try harder. Mel said, I'm blessed and favored. I desire peace, harmony, love. Destiny said, Excuse me. Sorry. I'm just choking on smoking bullshit. In the confessional, Destiny said peace, love, and harmony is a beautiful thing to want, but she didn't want that when she was tearing the club up at my establishment. So this is cute, but we don't know where it's coming from. Demi, the uninvited guest, said if I could do it once, I could do it again. Don't mess with her, because that was real vague. Destiny said, I thank God for overflow and being in a season of thriving and no longer surviving. Mel is in the confessional saying, as a woman who's been through divorce herself, she knows what it takes to rebuild after divorce. And so she wants to see any woman that's been through that be successful. So she's happy to hear that Destiny is in a much better place. Tisha said all she wants is love, peace, and happiness. God, you see me and I see you. We got this. When they get around to Kimmy, Kimmy starts saying, I can do and be anything. And she starts to get tearful as she says, I can overcome anything. And they're asking her, you know, what's going on with you? Because Kimmy is the strong one. You don't see Kimmy break down. And she lets them know she's not really ready to share. So Stormi moves on to the next activity, which is a game that's going to be called What I Think, What You Heard, What I Meant. And she thinks that this is a good activity for the group because this is essentially the model of the conversation that she and Destiny had. And when they broke down what I think, what you heard, and what I meant, it helped them to get to a better place. So maybe this can work for the rest of the group. Destiny said, well, I don't think we're going to get to peace playing that game. And Mel says to Stormi, well, I love you, but I ain't playing that game. Tiffany is in the confessional saying this sound like group therapy, and y'all know how I feel about group therapy. I run out on therapy with my damn husband, so you know I ain't going through no therapy with y'all. She said Stormi is asking for trouble. I don't know why this is the game she wants to play. Y'all ain't got Monopoly? So Stormi and Destiny kind of give them a mock run through of what their conversation looked like so that they would have an example to follow. And she starts with Tiffany. And Tiffany at first is like, no, I ain't got nothing I want to hash out with nobody because I done had something with everybody in this group. Stormi said, well, just pick somebody, anybody. And of course she goes to her issue with Destiny. And Destiny said, well, come on, since you want to get it on with me, let's go. Tiffany said, is this Detroit? Now, see, if she had reached over and put all her curse words in your face, your feelings was going to be hurt. Because what does Detroit have to do with her telling you to come on? Like, what does that have to do with anything? Tiffany literally sets herself up to get cursed out and then plays the victim. Because what did that have to do with anything? But is this Detroit? Destiny said, yeah, this is Detroit. So be careful. So, of course, the issue that Tiffany chooses to rehash is the issue of when she and Destiny first met, and she brings up at this first group meeting on camera that I met your husband and he was with another woman. So Tiffany tells Destiny that she felt like her reaction to her bringing that up at that brunch was exaggerated when she got upset and walked off and went to the bathroom. She said, because we had talked about it before. That wasn't the first time we discussed it. So I didn't understand why you would act like you were so upset. So Kimmy is trying to get clarity. Kimmy is saying, oh, so you think that she was playing like this was the first time she heard it. And in your mind, because this isn't the first time she heard it, there wasn't really reason to be upset. She said, yeah. Destiny said, well, the issue was, and I told you this a number of times, that was not the time or place to bring that up. Now, Destiny was saying she don't actually remember having these conversations with Tiffany. And Kimmy said, well, even if you had remembered, would you still have been upset about her bringing it up when she brought it up? And she said, yeah, because that wasn't the time or place. Kimmy said, well, there's your answer. It doesn't really matter that y'all had the conversation before. It was an inappropriate timing. And then Tiffany says, you know, I just feel like it was really hard to come in and get to know anyone because of that situation. Well, girl, the thing is you came to that brunch and you just started pouring everybody's business all over the table. We're not going to play like you was this innocent lady trying to say, oh, I remember I had met your husband and I think it was, we're not going to play that. You came in and let it be known that you met this girl's husband. And when you met this girl's husband, he was with another woman. And you also came in and let it be known that Maurice and Kimmy's son was having some sort of an issue at school. You were absolutely coming in trying to tell people's business. So if the public had a hard time accepting you, if you had a hard time acclimating to the show, that was your fault. Destiny said at the end of the day, she felt like the way that it was delivered to her was wrong. Tiffany said she is actively working on delivery because she knows that that's an issue for her. And Destiny is in the confessional saying that she thinks it's pretty much asinine for Tiffany to think she has the right to say that her reaction was exaggerated or was an overreaction to her bringing this up. And back at the table, she's telling the group that the woman Tiffany had seen Destiny's ex-husband with is Mel Nika, Martell's Mel Nika. They shocked. Tisha said, were they dating? Tisha, back your ass up. Tisha said, that's all I'm here for, T. Y'all, girl, what happened now? Destiny said, no, they were the only two black people at this entire award ceremony. And for some reason, she's saying she thought Mel Nika was me. I said, not all black people look alike. Tisha is about to lose it. Was it Mel Nika? Tiffany said, I don't know. I don't know who it was. Now, my thing is this. If Destiny knew that all along, why didn't she clear that up at the table? That I don't get it. Why didn't you say then, oh girl, that was Mel Nika. They won an award for some work they were doing together. That's why he was with that one. Like, why? I get being pissed off because that was inappropriate in terms of the insinuation she was making, especially because of what they were going through at the time with them splitting up. But if you knew then that it was Mel Nika in the picture that she was talking about, why didn't you date it then and say it was Mel Nika and they worked together? I mean, unless she just found this out, because she was saying, I have a picture, I can show y'all the picture. It was Mel Nika that was with him at this award ceremony. So why, where did we have the picture back then? So Stormi said, well, since we done broke the ice with Destiny, do you have anybody that you would like to address? Destiny said, everyone's great. Destiny said, go ahead and move on to the next person. Tisha is who's sitting next to her, but Tisha said, okay, that would be you, Kimmy. Kimmy said, what the hell? How? It just skipped to both of y'all. Tiffany said, you don't have anybody in the group that you've had an issue with? Tisha said, no. No. Tiffany said, so you haven't been at odds with anybody in the group? Tisha said, no, I'm good with everybody. I don't know y'all. Kimmy said, well, it doesn't mean that you have a current issue. It could be an issue from the past. Tisha said, I don't have issues from the past. I barely got a memory. I don't remember nothing. I don't have no issues. I'm good with everybody. Move on. Tisha in the confessional says, listen, everybody is not going to take ownership for their stuff. So I don't want to start anything tonight, and I don't want to dig anything up. Just let the past be the past. And I don't blame her. They done had a family meeting, and she taking that same advice Marceau gave Miss Wanda. So they move on to Mel, and Mel says, well, when I went to Madani's re-grand opening, I spoke to Destiny and said, hello, Destiny. I spoke to her by name, and I think she feels like I didn't speak to her because she came out of her building and said that I didn't speak to her. Destiny said, I didn't hear you say anything. That's why I feel like you didn't speak to me. Mel said, oh. She said, something was misheard because I definitely spoke to you and I said your name. Why can you not accept, own, or respect, even if this girl just said, I didn't hear you? Why can't you accept that? Especially when you know you are conscious of the fact that you walked in and you said hello in a hushed tone. So the episode comes to an end with Stormi saying, well, Destiny, knowing that she did speak, does that change how you feel? Destiny said, no. And I don't blame her. You don't get to go raise hell at somebody's establishment and say, well, would you have felt better if you knew I said hi before I tore everything up? Hell no. And why can't you own that, yeah, I did kind of barely speak to you. I did just kind of say hi, Destiny, because I know we got issues. I don't want no smoke. Why couldn't you own that? But I guess we'll pick up in the middle of this peace party next week. That's it. That's all. And I ain't got no more. Thank you so much for coming down here listening to me and let me get this off my chest. Please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you've not already. And as always, in the meantime, until next time, just like every time, I love you and I mean it. Bye.